In the 1980s, my family fled a war-torn Cambodia. I was born to a refugee camp. I bought my first property when I was in my early 20s. My girlfriend at the time was pregnant. I thought that buying off-the-plan properties was invincible. I could just keep doing this. With that negative equity on those off-the-plan properties, it made it very difficult for me. And what I did along the way to be at 36 years old and be financially free. My name is Hung Choi. I'm from Strategic Brokers. So this is the beginning of my journey. In the 1980s, my family fled a war-torn Cambodia to find freedom in another country like Australia. Little did they know that they will end up on a deserted island somewhere, begging for their life, pretty much surviving by eating any fruits, vegetables they could find, and later being shipped to a refugee camp where I was born, and we made our journey to Australia as refugees to the country. So this is the beginning of my journey. I thought I'd share how and what I did along the way to be at 36 years old and be financially free. The business Strategic Brokers was founded on the basis that we wanted to help the everyday Australian, people who came from humble beginnings even, to find that way or path to financial freedom through property. So I thought I'd share, my own story, and hopefully that helps you. Don't go out and do the crazy things that I did. It's not essentially recommended that you make all the mistakes I made. I think I should like to share this story for the fact that I'd like to tell you about all the problems that I encountered along the way, and maybe that might help you along your journey. I bought my first property when I was in my early 20s. My girlfriend at the time was pregnant and I was broke, and I really needed to find a home, and that led me to my very first property. That property I bought off the plan, and essentially that property I bought in a very good year where the property market was spiraling out of control. Put a deposit down, the house was completed 2 years later. That essentially gave me enough equity or power to be able to buy multiple properties after that. So I got very lucky in that instance. Right time, right place. I thought that buying off the plan properties was invincible. I could just keep doing this. So that led me to a series of other off-the-plan properties, which I decided to buy at that point in time, which instead of doing what they did on the first one, guess what? When it came time to settle those properties, they were worth anything up to 100 grand to 200 grand less than what I paid for them. So that was my first biggest, win and mistake that I won and lost in property. That set me back a fair bit because by the time my daughter was born, I really needed to start nesting. I needed to find a family home. With that negative equity on those off-the-plan properties, it made it very difficult for me to then go and buy that family home without the deposit required. So, fast forward that a bit further, I really needed to find a way to obtain the finance because I knew the market was in a position where there was a lot of value in it. This is straight after the Royal Commission, and I really wanted to live in a wonderful suburb in the northern beaches of Sydney called Freshwater. And the house came up that was pretty much perfect for us. So the stuff that we teach, or the things that I talk to customers about, I've pretty much done everything myself so I can share it. That particular property came up and I really needed to get this no matter what. So I really had to find a way to get finance for it. I was fortunate at the time that my dad, after everything that he's been through, he managed to pay off a house, which essentially he was kind enough to give me a parental guarantee on that. Whilst I was still holding 3 of these properties, which I purchased. All 3 of them were off the plan, but one grew in equity and the other 2 pretty much took that equity away. But I was very fortunate to have bought my first family home. That family home was essentially then the footpath to seeing truly what property in a good suburb, a good area, something what we call with scarcity can do for you or for your financial future. I think in property there's no fixed or fast way to do property. Everyone has their own philosophies, their own agendas. Us and our team at Strategic Brokers, we are kind of like that middleman between the banks. We are the middleman between your A team. We like to be the glue between everyone that sits around you. So we want you to understand that everyone is essential to your journey. So you need to be able to recognize who you need and when you need them at most. So that property itself that I bought, I've never seen property grow so fast. It was in a wonderful suburb called Freshwater, and it was one of the fastest growing suburbs in the country and most sought after at the time. So that kind of uncovered my ability to understand the mechanics of property a lot better than just buying these off the plan, people pocketing developer margins, etc. And led me to this path of learning about buying existing stock in infill, how to get it at a good price, and so forth. So from there, I was able to then release my dad as a guarantor, take equity from that property, and then be able to use that to then start buying more investment properties. Essentially, what you can do once you hit that stage, there are things like lending caps that will start producing. Going back to some of my videos, we were talking about, buying in trusts, buying companies. I did take advantage of a few of these things to allow me to extend my borrowing power. So these items that we talk about in the other videos, literally everything we talk about, I've done in some shape or form for myself. Furthering that, it allowed me to expand my property portfolio to over 10 properties, including purchasing commercial properties, development sites, and for every single property or transaction, it meant something different. There was a different structure, a different set of rules that needed to be applied. So every circumstance or every event, we have to look at the big picture. Over the years, I kept accumulating property, and I think the big trigger point was the realization that sometimes I was thinking I was chasing rents, I was chasing numbers, but you've got to treat your property portfolio like a business. So when you look at the cash flow, that means one thing. Essentially, what you have to look at long term is the capital growth, which is going to give you at some point the financial freedom to be able to sell properties, clear debt, collect rent, move it into commercial properties as you need to if you want to create that passive income without having to deal with all of the rest of the stress, and essentially allow you to reach those financial goals where you can essentially stop working. At 36, starting with being pretty much broke at 23, it's been quite a journey for me over the last 13 years. I'd be very happy to answer anyone's questions throughout the video. Down in the comments in the video, or just reach out to me personally. My name is Hung Choi. I'm from Strategic Brokers.